Hello and welcome to another episode of the Make More Placements podcast. Again, if you're watching this or listening to this on social media, remember to like and comment, help spread the word, help get this value out to as many people as possible. And also, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or any podcasting platform, remember to like and subscribe as well. In this episode, we're going to be discussing, the episode title is called Start Strong, the Recruitment Business Owner's Guide to Crushing 2025. So obviously, new year, a lot of the people that we're speaking to right now, a lot of the recruitment and search business owners, and you're probably the same, have got ambitions of doing better than last year, increasing the revenue, increasing the profits, maybe having more free time. And whatever it is for you, we're going to be looking at some of the things you need to be focusing on right now to have your best year in 2025. Jay, before we sort of dive into the content, the question for you, right, is why is it, just in your experience, your opinion, speaking to recruitment and search business owners almost every single day and for 25 years plus now, why is it so important that if you've got big ambitious goals this year, why is it so important to start the year strong?
In a nutshell, it just makes it so much easier. If I use the gym analogy, if your goal is, here we are, I want to have a perfect physique for the summer holidays, actually doing that a month or so before you go away is probably too late, because success takes time. Getting those habits in place takes time. Success doesn't happen overnight. So first and foremost, you have to be crystal clear about what it is you want to achieve. And then what you've got to be doing is implementing those action steps now that are going to ultimately lead you to your final destination. Does that make sense, Drew?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense. And just to add to what you said, I think even you said you must be doing action steps now. I think even in an ideal situation, you should have been doing them already, like from the back end of last year. I think one of the common things that I see happening is, we all set goals at the start of the year. It's sort of a common thing in at least this Western society that we start goals. We sort of have plans to grow the business or improve some area of the business, right? And what I see happening, especially this time of year, is that because we've got so long to achieve that goal, we tend to slack in the first couple of months, right? And then, as the end of the quarter comes in, we start putting our foot down a bit more. I think we need to have that same intensity, that same drive from month one, or ideally from the back end of last year, to hit the goals. And that's what I see, sort of the common theme I see with the recruitment search business who do hit those goals versus the ones who don't and maybe fall short come the end of the year. Terry, does that make sense? Or anything you want to add to?
It makes perfect sense. And, as you said, especially at this time of year, beginning of the year, and new year, new me, this is going to be the best year yet, and all that kind of stuff. It's imperative that you make sure that you actually mean that you're doing this with intention rather than that would be nice to have. It would be nice to have a great successful year this year. Is different to I'm absolutely committed to doing this. And often what you find, and not just for recruitment business owners, Drew and I, we go to the gym on a regular basis. If you go to the gym at the beginning of the year, it's absolutely packed. And what's interesting, a lot of those people in that gym are newbies who don't often go to the gym, but they've made this commitment that they're going to get fit this year. But they haven't done it with intention, so to speak. So what's interesting, if you talk to gym owners, it's busy, but only for the first 6 weeks of the year. February the 14th, it's back to normal. Because those people that said, yeah, I'm going to get fit this year, they had no real intention behind it. And it's having that commitment. So there's one thing saying it's important to have a strong start to the year in terms of your recruitment business, but it's also that commitment that you're going to do what needs to be done on a regular and consistent basis. Because if you think, I'm just going to do it for the first six weeks a year and I'm going to be successful, you won't. And you're going to be really disappointed and disillusioned, if that's your expectations. It does require that consistency as well. And in the whole world, the business world, and a lot of recruitment budgets are being refreshed now. Roles are being prioritized for now. Decision makers are thinking about the future. If you, as a recruitment or business owner, can position yourself as the go-to partner because of your effective marketing, perhaps in October, November, and they're reaching out to you now, think about the advantage you have over your competitors. And if you want a boost to your confidence, get off to a flying start. There is nothing better than getting off to a flying start at the beginning of the year. It does wonders for your confidence. Because one of the problems that we all have is recruitment, as business owners rather, is that at times we take on business that perhaps in hindsight we knew we shouldn't have taken on. But we've taken the business on because things are a bit tight at the moment. So you end up working with lousy clients and lousy candidates because things are a bit tight at the moment. If you get off to a flying start, ultimately you're deciding who you work with, when you work with them, and what the fees are going to be, rather than the other way around. There are so many other factors as to why this is so important that you get up to a strong start now. Does that make sense, Drew?
It does. And just to take it back to the gym analogy you use, that this time of year, January, February time, the gyms tend to be packed with people who, like a lot of people have ambitions for being fitter, healthier, in the coming year, and then they then join the gym and then take the step to actually go to the gym, but it doesn't last until the rest of the year. I think on the flip side to that, I think they're actually better than the people who say they want to have a better body or better business, whatever, but then don't change anything. Because I think
Good shout.
it's very easy to talk and speak in terms of ambition. Yes, I want to grow the business. Yes, I want to have a better body. Yes, I want to be fit and healthier. Yes, I want to eat more healthy. But it's about the taking that initial first step. And I think a lot of recruitment search business owners, I think almost everybody every single year has the goal or the intention of growing the business, right? Doing better than they did last year. This tends to be what I hear from, recruitment business owners that we speak to. But what have you actually changed? Because if you're going into this year doing the same activity in the same way, same intensity as Terry was saying, as you did last year, you can pretty much expect the same results, right? So what have you actually changed to match your ambition? So does what you're saying in terms of ambition actually match the actions that you're doing day in, day out, right? And if there's
Great point.
last year, then you're going to end up with the same results.
Yeah, it's one of the big mistakes that recruitment and search business owners often make when planning for the new year. They have this big goal, but that's what they say. But actually, what they're going to do is what they did last year and the year before and the year before. And you hit the nail on the head there, Drew. If they're going to do that, you can almost guarantee that they're going to have pretty much the same. And I think the other thing is I find this frustrating is wait until the new year to plan. And I understand at one level, it's a new year, so it's a new slate. I can start afresh. January is the first month of the month is an arbitrary date, quite honestly. Why not do this in November? Why not do this in October, quite frankly? And the thing with any goal, it's end orientated, isn't it? So, example, I'm going to bill 1 million this year. But the success isn't just about that outcome. What's more important are the systems and the habits that will get you there. Because without focusing on the how, that goal lacks the foundations to succeed.
100%.
So instead of saying I'm going to double the number of placements, focus on I'm going to increase my client outreach. I'm going to improve my candidate screening efficiency. I'm going to post more frequently on social media platforms. I'm going to email. When I say more frequently, be really specific about it. So I'm going to post on social media 5 days a week. I'm going to email 3 days a week, or whatever it is. Because ultimately, if you focus on the actions that you're going to take to get you there, you've got control over that. So if your goal is 1 million, you want to have a bumpy year, and your goal this year is 1 million. If you're really honest with yourself, you haven't got ultimate control over that final figure, because it might be 920, it might be 1.2. What you have got control over is the specific action steps that you can take. So you have got control over the number of people that you call. You have got control over the number of people you're going to email, the number of podcasts you're going to do, the number of lead generation activities that you're going to do to get those new clients, to get that business. So your focus should be on the activity that you can control rather than the things that you can't control. Does that make sense, Drew?
It does. It makes perfect sense, and I think that takes me back to one of the mistakes that I see people make this time of year, or throughout the year, is that I think if you run a business right now, if you look at whatever you did last year, what in terms of revenue, there'll be activities that are linked to that, right? So if you want to double your revenue, you need to do double the activity in the same amount of time, right? And I think if you're not aware of, and I think this is just a mistake I see, that you're not aware of what activity actually got you that revenue, then there's no way you can sort of look at, analyze it, look at it, and think, okay, well, if doing this activity this many times got me this number, and I want to double that number, I also need to double that activity. And I think, again, a big mistake is you're going into the year blindly, not really having a clear picture of what that activity is, what outcome it gives you, and how much you need to increase it by. Going back to what Terry's saying, whatever it's going to be for you, there's going to be a method that you use to bring business in, whether it's cold calling, sending emails, podcasts, as Terry said, LinkedIn messages, whatever it is. There's going to be a number associated with the the output you need to do to hit that goal. And if you can't sort of know what that is and duplicate it, then you're not gonna achieve the goal that you want to achieve this year.
Yeah. There's a book, Atomic Habits, really recommend it. It's available in book form and audio by a chap called James Clear. One of his quotes is, "We don't rise to the level of our goals; you fall to the level of your systems." In other words, if your systems are repeatable and repeatable actions and process, it's your repeatable actions and processes that drive consistent results. So instead of resolving to win more clients, create a system whereby you will win more clients, whether it's, as Drew said, prospecting more or whatever. But really focus on the activity is where you're going to get the results. I want to repeat that. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I have the pleasure of talking to recruitment and search business owners every day of the week. And probably in a month, between the two of us, we must speak to probably 300 or 400 recruitment and search business owners every single month. And whenever you talk to them about the challenges they have, and one of the questions we have is, what's the biggest challenge you have in the business at the moment? It might be finding the candidates, it might be finding the new business. It's often a reflection of the processes that they've got in place to do those things. So rather than blaming the market and saying, well, it's the market, things are tight right now, so I can't find new clients, have a look at the systems that you're using right now to find new clients, because that's what's going on. That's where the real problem is. It's you will fall to the level of your processing systems in your business right now. Does that make sense, Drew?
No, yeah, 100%. So Terry, just going back on, if someone's listening to this right now, watching this right now, and they wanna crush 2025, can you give me like a just bird's eye view idea of 3 or 4 sort of key strategies or key areas that I as a recruitment business owner should be looking at to improve?
Yeah, first of all, when you say you want to crush it, be specific about it. What exactly do you mean? What will you see, hear, and feel to know that you've achieved your goal? So if you've got a goal, I want to. Here's a question we often ask to a business owner: what is it you want? They go, I want to be successful. I say, what does that mean to you? They go, well, I want to survive. Well, wanting to survive probably isn't a particularly compelling goal. So some owners will say that. Another business owner say, to hell to surviving, I want to thrive. There's a massive difference between the two. So you then ask the question, so when you want to survive, what does that mean? Or when you want to thrive, what does that mean in terms of monetary value? Because unless you have a clear goal that you're going to hit, you're never going to hit it. What's that saying? Unless you've got a clear goal as to where you're going, any road will take you there. And invariably, you'll end up taking any road. So you get crystal clear about what it is you want to achieve. So let's stay with the revenue goal. I want to do this revenue over the next 12 months. So let's say it's $500,000 over the next 12 months. So what is it you need to do? We want to be looking to breaking that down. So breaking that down, that's about 40,000 a month every month. What's the average size of your placement value now? So let's keep this simple. Let's say your average placement is 20,000. So actually what you need to do is win two pieces. You need to make 2 placements a month, every single month, at approximately 20,000. Now I acknowledge some maybe 17,000 and some maybe 23,000, but you get the point. It's going to be as an average there. So what specifically do you need to do that when you do it, you know that you could do it? So let's say you're working on contingent and you then acknowledge, right, I have to work on, I don't know, 5 jobs to make 1 placement. So now you need to win 10, 12 job orders a month. So what's the specific activity that you need to do that when you do that, you know that you'd win 10 to 12 job orders a month? You won't fill them all, but all being well, you'd probably fill 2 of those 12 or 2 of those 10 every single month. But you're breaking everything down to manageable goals. So what is it you then need to do to win? That's about 3 or 4 job orders a week. What specifically do you need to do? How many people would you need to speak to every week that you know that if you would speak to that number of decision makers, you'd probably win 3 or 4 job orders a week every week? You did that every week, that would be 10, 12 a month. So it's breaking it down and focusing on the systems that you need to do and get really specific about what it is you want to achieve. Does that answer the question, Drew?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense. And I think just to add to what you said, I think being very specific on all the things you said there. And I think for me, I think like we always talk about with our clients or recruitment search presenting help, we talk about lag and lead indicators, right? The lag being the end result, so the revenue number, and then the lead being the activity that gets you to that revenue number. And I think if you're not clear on what that activity is, you're never going to hit your goal, right? But I think that once you can, go back to what I said earlier, once you can build a picture of that, how many calls it's going to take to win a client, how many LinkedIn messages, how many, whatever it is in your business, whatever the processes are, once you can get clear on those lead indicators, growth becomes really predictable. And I think that's sort of what I think a lot of people enter this business with a lack of clarity because they're not clear on what those lead indicators are. I think once you get those mapped out, is this a case of if you want to double your business, you need to do double the lead activity indicators? It's as simple as it sounds. That's what it really is. And I think most people just don't know what those lead indicators are. Haven't got a clear picture on those numbers. And just to give an idea of some of the things that you should be looking at is, I think across the board, when we work with a client, the three areas that we consistently look to grow is, fill more of the jobs that you're working on right now, right? So if it takes you 10 job orders to make 2 placements, we need to increase that so it's 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10, whatever. If we can increase that, we can increase your revenue without any work. Number 2 is like your average fee. If you can increase the average fee that, if you look back at last year, the average fee that a client paid you for an assignment, if we can increase that, again, we can increase the revenue and profit without too much additional work. And then, the other obvious one is winning more clients, which is, to me, to break it down in simple terms, comes down to more sales opportunities. So how many sales opportunities are you generating per month? What activity is leading to those sales opportunities, and what can we do to increase that activity? I think if we can sort of, high level thinking, focus on those 3 areas, you're guaranteed to grow the business. So does that make sense?
Perfect sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything you want to add or say before we wrap up?
Yeah, just I guess as you were talking, I just want to look at sort of, I guess, wasted opportunities. And it reminded me of, and you'll know who I'm talking about, a lady called Sarah, who was a seasoned recruiter, and she took the plunge to go off her own and start her own recruitment business. Now, Sarah was ambitious, she was passionate, she was confident that her years of experience would naturally translate into success. But as the new year began, she was brimming with excitement and eager to tackle the goals for 225, for a breakout year. But there's a problem. Sarah had no plan. She had lots of ideas, but no plan. What she should have done is sat down in November, December, and to map out her goals and target market, the strategies that she should be using. Now, it's one thing having lots of enthusiasm, which she had. She had a ton of enthusiasm, but her structure was non-existent. The results, it was a chaotic start for the first few days of the year. So she missed opportunities because she didn't have a defined niche that she was going to work in. But there were hiring managers in that market who were actually looking. She had inefficient processes for reaching out to those decision makers, and as a consequence, within a few days, she lost a bit of momentum because she had no plan. If you're like that, but you've got a competitor that's got a plan and has got everything in place, you can appreciate who's going to have the advantage. Without a plan, it's not going to work. So at the very least, sit down and decide exactly what it is you want to do and what it is you want to achieve and how you're going to do it. And the final thing I'd say is, and why you want to achieve it. And a question to ask Sarah around your why is, what will achieving your goal give you that you don't believe you have now? And it's a very personal response to that. And there should be, the more reasons you have as to why, the greater your commitment. Because whatever your goal is, as you embark on this journey, let's be honest about it, guys. Every now and then, the what's it's going to hit the fan. The shit's going to hit the fan. Things are going to go wrong. And unless you're committed to it, you're going to quit. But if you've got a strong and compelling reason why, there's no stopping you. So get crystal clear as to why you want to achieve that goal. And then there's no stopping you. I promise you that. Anything to add to that, Drew?
No, I think you summed that up well. Again, thanks for listening. Remember to like and subscribe and share this with any recruitment and search business owner who is as ambitious as you and wants to grow the business. We will speak with you next week. Until then, take care, take action, and be relentless.
Cheers, folks. Thanks a lot, Drew.